Hey there, I'm Jamie Smith with CF Pro Tools. I just wanted to share with you a quick demonstration of the CF Single Terms Checker. This is a checkbox element that you can add, or an add-on that you can add to your ClickFunnels pages, opt-in pages, order forms, OTO pages, to make sure somebody agrees to your terms and conditions. They have to check the box before they can submit the page, and when they do that, then you know that they have checked the box and that they agree to the terms. And it also gives you a nice little custom field so that you can see that in their contact information, their additional info for their contact, and then you can use that as, kind of your fallback to say, hey, look, we have here data that shows that you checked the box and submitted the page, so you must have agreed to the terms and conditions. So a lot of times that's the sort of thing that payment gateways are looking for, is to show that, hey, you've collected some sort of data around the person accepting the terms and conditions. So let me throw this up here and show you what this looks like in action. I'm just going to pull a page up here. I've got this installed on an opt-in page, so we can see here, this comes up checked by default in my case because I've been to this page before, so it's just reloading the last state of the checkbox. But normally it would come in unchecked, and so in fact, if we reload this now, we should see it unchecked. This is just a basic opt-in page, first name, email address, and then you get your checkbox. If somebody comes into this page and they try and submit the page without checking the box, then we'll see that the button shakes. It lets them know that, hey, they can't actually submit the button. And it actually highlights the text of the headline in yellow to indicate, again, kind of a visual indication that, hey, you need to do something with this particular text before you'll be able to submit. And so if we were to type in, even put in an email address in here, and let's just do jamie@cfprotools.com and submit here. Again, it's not going to allow us to submit, but then once we check the box, then we can actually submit. It goes through the normal process, takes us to our next page. Next page just happens to be an order form in this case. We also have this on an order form page. So if I put this in here, I believe I already built this in. So if we do United States and then go to this, sorry, didn't pick it. And then if we go to step 2, then we'll see we've also got a terms checker on this one, and same thing, won't let us actually submit this button. So this works on regular opt-in pages, it works on 2-step order forms, it works on 1-step order forms, it also works on OTO pages. And so again, if we check the box, then we'll be able to submit once we've filled out all the details. So that's kind of the purpose of this add-on, is to allow you to add a headline to a page and give it some style, some background colors, some borders and all that fun stuff. Whatever you want to do with it, just make sure, and it actually puts a checkbox on the front. It actually adds that checkbox as a custom field so that it shows up on your contact record. So let me run through with you real quick and show you how to get this installed for yourself. So we are going to go in and edit this page. This is the opt-in page version. So we'll go ahead and edit this page, and I'll show you how I've set this page up. Again, this one's already kind of pre-built, but what we have here is a row that is our box, and then inside that row is a headline. So the checkbox is going to get inserted in front of the headline element that is inside the box that you attach the add-on to. You can also attach it directly to the headline element. You just, by having it be a row, you get a little bit more options with styles. So in this case, I wanted to make sure that my box was wrapped with a background color and with some borders. So I added a new row. So I've got, a row here that's got my headline and my fields for first name, email address. Then I created a new row, and that new row, I actually applied the border and the background to. So I've got a background color on this. And then I've also, on the row, on the border, I've got a full border dashed, 2 pixels wide, red color. You can pick, whatever color you want and change it out there. I like the red, it kind of makes it stand out. You could make it green, something like that, just so that it pops a little bit so that people understand that they need to kind of pay attention to this section. And then what I've done is inside of here is just a regular headline element, and this element can be anything you want. You can change the text, you can do whatever you want to do. You can put a link in here, so if we wanted to link to an actual terms and conditions page, you could do that. If you don't need to do that and it's just you need to have them agree to a sentence or two, then you could just put it right here in line with the checkbox. You can make this all centered if you wanted to, left align, however you want to. All your normal styles for a headline you can still apply. And then what I've done is actually the way we need to tell the code that, hey, this is a terms checker element is we need to just give it a special name, and you'll find this is the same in a lot of the CF Pro Tools add-ons. So we go into settings, and then we go to the Get CSS Info, and we pull that up, and what we want to do is call this CF Terms Checker, and then I'm going to go click Update. And then what I want to do is this one, because when I first installed this, I actually named that on the element, on the headline. I just want to put this back to headline. So what we can do now is actually have this on. So this entire row is called CF-terms-checker, and then it's going to look for the headline that's inside of that row, and it's going to append the checkbox to that. And then the next step is to actually grab the code. And so I'm going to pull this code over here. And this is the code for the add-on, and there's only one thing that you may want to change in this code, and that is this first field here where it says accepted terms. And I'm just going to put a little note here that says set your field name here. So this one is the checker name. It's set to right now accepted terms. You could, if the thing that you want is you may want to have multiples of these throughout a single funnel, or multiple funnels, and some you might want to have them be unique. So that a contact record that may accept terms and conditions or accept something along your funnel in multiple places, you want to have each page that it's installed be a unique name. That way you're not overriding the values for that particular contact with different values from another terms page. So if you had, installed this add-on in two different pages and you left them both as accepted terms, then you're not going to have two different spots in their contact record to show which terms did they accept. So you could call this, this one accepted terms opt-in, or you could just leave it accepted terms, and then maybe on your order form have accepted terms order. Or you can go into your page and say, put it for the page ID. So this is page 194-07084. That is the page ID. So you could grab that and then go in here and append that here. And that way you would know that, okay, on this particular page for this contact, they accepted the terms that were on the page at the time. So that's one way to do that. And then we're going to grab all of this information. We're going to copy everything. We're going to go into our settings, tracking code, and then footer code. I've already got this installed here. I'm going to go ahead and paste. I wiped everything out. I'm going to paste this in. I'm going to go ahead and close that, and I'm going to go ahead and click Save. And I'm going to go ahead now and open this up in a new incognito window, just the preview. And we'll see here that we get the same thing. We get our box. It's now got a green border. It's got a checkbox on it. I'm going to go ahead and put in my full name, and I'm going to run through a test here. So this is 031118-2 because I'm testing this for the second time today. And so this just gives me a unique email address so that I can create a unique contact record in the system. And again, if I click the download free report, it's not going to let me submit. It's going to shake the button. It's going to highlight now my entire row, you'll notice, highlights in yellow. So everything about that highlights in yellow. I can click that and it kind of does that. And so I'm going to go ahead and click this now, and I'm going to go ahead and click download the free report. Now it's going to go ahead and let me submit the page. It's going to take me on to the next step in my funnel, which happens to be a two-step order form in this case. So now let's go ahead and go back and take a look at our contacts for this funnel. So I'm going to exit out of the editor here, and I'm going to go to my contacts for this funnel. And you'll see that here's the new one, 031118-2. That was just created a minute ago. That's my test from just now. If I click and edit this contact record and then go to additional info, you'll see now that I have this accepted terms 194-07084. That's my page ID. That's the field name that I gave it. So when I look at my code, that is this field name here. What happens is the underscores get replaced with spaces, and the page, the first letter gets capitalized in each one. So accepted terms 194-07084 is set to true. So that's how I know that this person checked the box and accepted the terms on their page. And so that's how that works. And so again, the process would be pretty much the same for any of your pages. The only one that's a little bit different is the two-step order form. So a one-step order form is really no different. The only difference may be that you're not going to insert a new row. Say you want to use a 2-column layout. You won't insert a new row here because there's no way to put a row inside of this column because it's already a 2-column row. So we can't put a row inside of a row, but you can create a new headline element. And that's what I've done here. So this is just a new headline element. And I put my headline in there. You could link here, you can do whatever you want. And then I can still do borders and background colors on rows. I just don't have quite as many options with headline elements as I do with an entire row as far as padding and everything else. But let's take a quick look at this. So if we go to settings, and then I can set a border color here, which I have. I can set a background color here, which I have. And then to set the actual padding, so I get a little spacing here, go to padding, and it's set to 15 now. I can bump it up and make it 20, and you'll notice I get a little more padding in here. So I like to have a little padding inside so that the border is going to be as wide as everything else, but make the text kind of shrink inside that a little bit. And then if I set the borders to full border, it's going to show that border all the way around. If I do no border, then my dashes go away. So I want to do full border, and then I have my border style. It could be solid and look like that. That's one option. Or I could do, the dashed. We could do dotted, but I like the dashed border. And then we have border size. Could be 1, 2, 3, 5. We could make it really thick if we wanted to. So you've got some options there. So we could do that, and then the border color, again, is set on the settings panel here. And so you've got some options there. You can do just a green border. We could do a little different background color. We could do something like that. We could do a blue background. We could really turn the opacity down on that to get it there. We could do, a light gray. We could do something like that. Or we could just do, no color at all, make it completely transparent. And then go from there. We'll do somewhere in the middle. I like that. And then again, we just take our code and we go to tracking code, and we go to footer code, and then we can highlight all that and wipe it out. We paste that in. Now here's the difference is because this is a different page, this is 194.07736. I can copy that one, and I can go in and I can replace that at the end, and now I have a different page ID that I'm editing here, and so I can go to that one, and then that will get saved as a different terms field on my contact record. So that's how you would do this for a regular one-step order form. You can use rows just like we did on the opt-in, or you could use elements here. And again, the element, this one we would just set the CF terms checker right on the headline itself versus being on the row that wraps it. And so we go to settings, get CSS info, and then in the title put CF-terms-checker. And that's how that works there. We're going to go ahead and click save real quick, and then let's exit out of this. And then the two-step order form is a little bit different. And let's go ahead and go in and edit this page. The two-step is a little more difficult. It's not really hard, it's just a little different because we can't actually insert things into the two-step itself without a little bit of magic. So what I've done here is I've actually created a hidden section down at the bottom of this page that contains a headline element. And then I have written the code so that the code will grab that headline element and move it into the two-step order form. So let's go ahead and take a look at how that's set up. If we go to sections and manage, and you'll want to do this yourself. The code doesn't do this for you. You'll need to create a new section at the very bottom. I've got one created, and I've just called mine CF Pro Tools Magic, and it's just hidden, so it doesn't show up by default. I've just got a very small section. I think here's what it's actually just small. So you can just create small, extra small, whatever. Just create a new section, set the section with the small, and then inside of that I have a row. I created a new row. And then that row, again, has a headline inside of it. And the row also has the border and the background and all that stuff set on it. So if I look here, I've got a border color. I've got a background color set of a light gray here. And I've got all that stuff set. And if I look at my Get CSS Info, I've got the same thing, CF Terms Checker. And then that's all there is to that. So I create a new section. In that section, I create a new row. In that row, I create a headline, and then I apply my CF terms checker title to that row, and then the code will pick up from there. The other thing is that the code will pick up and say, hey, find this row or this element that includes CF terms checker as the title and move it just above the button on my two-step order form if there's a two-step order form on the page. So I'm going to go ahead and hide this again. I'm going to go ahead and hide it. I'm going to save it. And again, all I need to do is grab my code. So I'm going to grab this. I'm going to go into Settings, Tracking Codes, Footer Code. I'm going to go ahead and highlight all that. I'm going to wipe that out. I'm going to paste in my code. If I scroll back to the top, now this is page 194-07727. So I'm going to go ahead and highlight this, and I'm going to put that in there. And now I'm going to go ahead and click Save. And now if I pull this up, it's going to pull up for me, and I've been to this page before, I've tested before, so I'm going to go ahead and go to step 2. And now we'll see on step 2, it's taken my row from the bottom section and moved it up just above my button. So I still have, it won't let me submit, it still highlights in yellow, does all the work just like it did on the other pages. It's just moved it for me automatically. I didn't have to do anything but create the new section, the new row, the new headline, and then add the add-on code. And the add-on code knows that there's a two-step order form on the page. It looks for the row and it moves it in above the button. So it does all that work for you. So that's the only thing that's a little bit different about a two-step order form if you want to use those on your page. Opt-in pages are basically the same as the OTO page is basically the same as what you saw on an opt-in page. So I can go in and look at an OTO page here, and if I click Edit Page, then we'll see on this one, we have a row, we've got a border applied to it, a background color. Again, this one I can attach a link to it if I want to actually open up the terms in a new page. And I've just got this row set with the CSS title of CF-terms-checker. And again, I'm going and I'm grabbing you'll notice I'm grabbing the exact same code every time. There's nothing that needs to be different about this except for the actual ID number. So I grab my page ID here from the URL. I'm going to copy that, and then I'm going to go and I'm just going to highlight the end here. And then that's got a unique page ID. So now I know this field is unique. I'm going to go ahead and click Save. And this is an OTO page, so it's not going to work if I just pull it up in preview, but it'll at least work from the perspective of showing me the checker element. So you can see here I get my check, and it won't let me submit this page to buy the thing until I've actually checked the box. Now if I check, it's going to let me submit it, and then it's going to refresh this page because I'm not actually able to buy because I haven't gone through an order previously. But that's how this works. So hopefully that all makes sense. You can grab the code down below, and then all you will need to do in the code is replace this checker name. You could call it something other than accepted terms. You can call it whatever you want. I personally like accepted terms, and then the page ID at the end, and that will allow you to have kind of a unique variation of this inside your contact records for each one as you create them. Hopefully this all makes sense and you find this super useful, and we'll talk to you again real soon.